Are you tired, Hootle?
You sure he's not just trying to hide from us?
No way! All right. Having to inform a mother her son died isn't an easy thing to do.
But if not us, then who? That's why we have to find him.
Sorry.
Yes.
All right.
How can she think of putting her son to rest as work?
Because that's the way people were made to think about every aspect of their life.
I know she doesn't mean anything bad by it. I know that, but...
It looks like she went out of town to take care of her son's body.
That's a little concerning. There's Zoogles roaming around out there. We should follow after her.
No
Grant me the strength to march on!
Rising Water!
By the power here! Do it! Just bash it out and catch a ray!
Captivity!
Concentrate!
Its armor's too strong!
Then I'll split it open!
Be my guest!
Now!
Dribble out!
Demons descend!
Flashing Fang!
Small, but a victory nonetheless.
We have a long way yet to go.
Yes.
What?
Hmm? Hmm?
I'm afraid not.
I'm sorry.
Rinwell.
Huh?
Phew. Good.
Right.
That little speech you gave back...
Something's eating at you again, huh?
I don't know if I would say that. I mean... Actually, I guess I do have one or two things on my mind. My people, we lived in hiding, so we never really experienced the full extent of Renan oppression. Not directly, anyway. After Almadria killed my mother and father, though, I guess that's when I started hating them so much. The Renans, I mean. But then I think of all those people who were born into slavery. The ones who never even got angry in the first place because it was all they ever knew.
I hear you. Every city we've been to, it's the Resistance that gets labeled the troublemakers for having the guts to do the right thing.
When it comes down to it, sometimes I wonder which of us really has the better way.
You can't let your anger eat away at you, Rinwell. But then again, losing your parents that way... Hell, who could really blame you for it if you did? I guess what I'm trying to say is... sorry. Hell, it's hard putting this stuff into words.
No, I get it. You're saying that grief and anger are different than hatred. I never thought of it like that. But hearing you say it, it makes sense. Thanks, Law.
You're welcome?
I think we've helped these people just about as much as we can. They're going to need more long-term aid than we can provide on our own.
You're right. We need to ask the other realms to send help, and fast.
What?
What's that noise?
Alvin, this is bad! Look at the sky!
Huh?
What's happening to Rena and Lenegis?
It looks like Lenegis is transforming? But into what? What's going on?
How the hell are we supposed to fight the Renans if they're packing that kind of arsenal?
It seems they've broken their silence at last. My concern is that object they've dropped into the water. It's as if they're driving a literal wedge into Dana.
Not just into Dana, but her own resistance, too. And what's with that beam of light coming down from above? Got any idea what that could be?
Astral energy.
Are you serious? All of that is astral energy? But that...
It's a lot for sure. Not even all the astral energy harvested by every lord combined compares to that column.
They're trying to squeeze every last bit of energy out of the planet.
But why? I thought they only needed to harvest astral energy as part of the crown contest.
Who cares? If we don't stop it now, the whole of Dana is going to be hollowed into oblivion.
Oblivion.
Do you think that red woman is behind this?
It certainly wouldn't surprise me. Just as the Sovereign, the Maiden, and all 5 Master Cores are gathered in one location, she appears out of nowhere bearing a 6th core. She then forces the 2 of you to help her assemble the Renis Alma. Just what kind of person is this woman?
You mean you don't know her?
Pardon?
She was there at your palace, wasn't she? I figured you knew who she was.
Are you saying I should be familiar with this woman?
Well, sure. I remember seeing her with you back at Adelina Palace several times. Everyone in the guard always wondered who she was.
Now that you mention it, I remember seeing her with Balsif, too. You saw her, right, Shion? Shion?
Oh, sorry, I drifted off. As far as I remember, the first time I saw her was when we ran into her in Pelagian.
Seriously? How could you two not notice her before? She sticks out like a sore thumb.
I guess I always figured she kept an eye on the lords for the Renin top brass.
You're sure you don't remember ever seeing her before?
I'm certain of it. My memory has never failed me.
But if it's not that, then...
We'll get to the bottom of this later. Right now, that wedge is a bigger concern.
Well, what are we gonna do then? We're not gonna be able to leave Ganeth Haros until we come up with a plan, right?
Cyslodia lies beyond the northern mountain range.
Yeah, but we haven't found a single route through those mountains while we've been here. And we haven't gotten clues from any of the freed locals either.
Surely there must be a way through. This realm can't have been completely isolated from the rest of the outside world for 300 years. Volron may have simply sealed and hidden it.
Okay, then let's try asking the townspeople again if they know anything. Who knows? We might have missed something the first time around.
Sounds good to me. Better that than trying to build a boat from scratch. Let's start searching.
That must be Rena's true power.
I imagine...
I bet the whole of Dan is losing its mind right about now.
And just when we'd finished liberating all the realms. So much for things getting somewhere close to normal.
It's too calculated. As if whoever's behind all this was watching us.
The people of Pelagian seem pretty unfazed given the circumstances.
They've yet to get the full range of their emotions back. Maybe it's for the best. Can you imagine the panic otherwise?
Yeah, we wouldn't have been able to leave. That's for sure.
Whatever Lenegis is planning, it's a fair bet this wedge they've sent down is just the beginning.
Even now, they're stealing away Dana's astral energy as we speak. Come on. We don't have much time.
Hey, when that wedge dropped down on... Dana, did anyone else see any weird light shoot out with it?
Indeed. As I recall, it was full...
Where are these foreland mountains exactly?
Those are the mountains you encounter if you walk deep enough into the Lavtu marshlands.
I don't remember there being any sort of path like that around there.
It's possible we overlooked something before. It wouldn't hurt to look again. Always good to be back in familiar territory. You see anybody around here?
No way.
All right?
Hmm.
You don't say. Stay calm.
Huh?
Good.
Sure.
Perhaps you shouldn't have gotten your hopes up.
I felt moved by people whose love transcended the boundaries of...
Huh?
Ridiculous.
Got it.
Right.
We finally made it.
Hello. I see. Oh. What?
Oh?
I see.
Yeah.
But why Voron's whereabouts? Don't they know where their own son? Is?
Considering we've come across him the world over, he's likely been operating on his own for a while now.
Maybe even his own subordinates were just toys to him. Okay, off we go.
What's that huge Zoogle over there?
This won't be easy.
Don't be such a pessimist.
Freeze Lantern! They're surrounding us!
Take it! Aim for the weak spot! On your way!
Here! Here goes! Here I go!
Resonate with the earth! Your arts are really incredible.
It's thanks to you I can use them.
Then I promise I'll always be here.
You fight better at a distance. The further away, the better.
You and I both.
If it's in the sky, it's mine!
Captivity!
I never miss! Lightning descent!
Blast! Ignite!
Illuminate here! I'm not in your dreams! Glacial
Resonate
spear!
with the
Fierce
earth.
evil!
Dazzle! Rising
Blaster! Arctic waterfall! Freeze Lancer! Dance in the wind! Glacial spear! Fierce evil!
Rising Wyvern!
Freeze
Resonate with the
Lancer!
earth!
Radiant
Stalagmite! On your knees! Rising Wyvern! Rising Wyvern! Now, while it's reeling!
Take it down!
Hurricane Thrust! Elusive deity! Hurricane Thrust! Dating pile driver! Hurricane Thrust! Resonate with the earth!
Freeze Lancer!
Eat
Dance
this!
in the wind! Air thrust!
Can't get out of this!
Light astral energy!
Radiant Rim! The Calmer won't save you! Negative gate!
Dance in the wind!
Nothing
In
gets
here!
by me!
Air thrust! Here!
Lightning Thrust!
Lightning orb!
Hurrah!
Another miss!
Elusive deity!
Blah, blah, blah!
Lightning orb!
Here!
Hurricane Thrust! Russia! Here! Hurricane
I thought you were going to wreck that way.
Here I
I'm
come!
not near the thrilling yet.
Then I'll provide assistance however I can.
As impressive as always.
Here I hope there will be.
I'm ready! River!
An astral energy!
Say no more! Elusive deity! You picked the wrong fight! It's time! In a bind? It's wide open! It won't escape me! I'll smash you! Devastation!
Radiant here! Holy land! Another
Into the fray!
Water, hear my call! Spread! Glacial spear! Here's evil!
Rising Wyvern!
Freeze Lancer!
Denied! Dragon's gonna attack!
Right, watch out!
Rising Wyvern! Tear! Hurricane Thrust! Tear! Hurricane Thrust! Mirage! Burn in hell!
I never miss!
Amazing! Not long to go now.
We couldn't have done it without you, Daniel.
I'm safe! Come on! Let's you and me get in there and finish this fight!
Armor won't save you! Rising Wyvern! Begin! Hurricane Thrust!
Got it!
No further! Tear!
Now's our chance!
Tear! Hurricane Thrust!
Hear my call!
Elusive deity! Rising Wyvern! Tornado Drive! Dazzle! Elusive deity! Resonate with the earth!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
I know fine weapon material when I see it.
I think it's safe to rest here now. Yeah.
How?
Huh? Well... Hey! Finally. If only we could have...
Oh, but if only I could soar the skies like you, my friend.
Done. This is sure to give the others some much-needed energy.
Shion, could we talk a moment?
Do you mind if we chat a bit?
Now there's something I never thought I'd hear you say.
Remember when we talked about what it was like for me growing up? Well, I thought it only fair that I also get to ask what you were like as a child.
My childhood? Maybe you missed the memo that was going around, but I can't remember anything of my past.
I know. Just whatever you can remember. There's gotta be something, right?
Let me think. Well, have I ever told you about my army days? Back when I used to serve under a Danan master?
Yeah, but that must have been after you were already grown up, right? Do you happen to remember anything from back when you were younger?
Actually, I remember I had a kid with me.
You had a kid?
No, of course not. The child's father was another soldier. Back in those days, we risked our lives for a master we'd never even seen. We just fought for them and didn't even question it. When that kid's dad died and I saw them sitting there crying, I felt this bitter, indescribable feeling. It was like I was drinking something toxic that I knew I shouldn't, but couldn't stop. It was strange. I never understood why I reacted like that. Soldiers died every day. It wasn't anything new.
What it tells me is that deep down, you were the same man then as you are now. You've never been able to accept injustice in the world.
If you keep talking like that, you're going to embarrass me. I wonder whatever happened to that master and poor kid. Not that there's any way of knowing now. You know, I just remembered that kid was good at sewing dolls. They gave me one once. It was a good luck charm to protect me.
Dolls? I think it's time we go to sleep. Come on, guys. We've got lots to do.
I always love the sound of hammers banging away. You see anybody around here who could use our help? Yeah!
Sure. How did it come to this?
You're a beautiful woman, Xion. That's a good thing, right?
Wait, Kisara. Hey, Kisara!
How did it come to this?
Think we can take that thing?
No way. Forget about it.
This one will be difficult to predict.
Insects should stay on the ground. Far enough!
Exploit the enemy's weakness. Rising Wyvern! Resonate with the earth! Here I come!
Glacial Spear! Here's evil!
Rising Wyvern! Prepare to be free!
I'll be saving you!
Here I come! Plenty for you all!
Sleep now! Where are you going? Get on in there with
Sword
the
Rain Alpha! Can't get out of this!
Sleep
Lightning
now!
Slash!
Water! Don't mind if I do! Call.
This one's all mine!
Knock it into next week!
Dragon Swarm!
Lightning Orb!
Eternal Devastation!
Pierce
Ignite!
evil! Holy Land!
Russia! Be still! Resonate with the earth!
Leave the charge to me! Deny!
Light Astral Energy!
This should do it!
Glacial Spear! Pierce evil!
Take this!
In here! Freeze Lancer! More for the stockpile!
Lightning Elusive Deity!
A banana!
Soaring Blast!
Dance in the wind! In here!
Take this!
I'll be saving this one!
I'll fix you!
Seal! Let's get you all tucked away!
Anything in order is all mine!
We're good to go!
It's
Fire Aqua!
I'll fix you!
Illuminate the dark!
Take this!
Hear me! Holy Land! Burning!
Can you take it?
Arts require complete
Castle! Rising
What will I do
Falcon!
without you? Hear me! Flame of Fury!
I can handle it!
You're mine!
I'll cover you!
Stardust! Just can't get out of this!
Healing Soul! This one's mine! Illuminate the dark! Mind if I do? Radiant!
I'll smash you!
Here! Illuminate the dark!
Far enough!
Come forth!
Glacial Spear!
Pierce evil! Holy Land! Freeze Lancer!
Now! Negative point freely!
Take it down! Now!
Totally! In an instant! Impact block! Slash! Burn!
Hear me! Sleep now!
Elusive Leash! Coming through! Ha! Melt! Scarlet Inferno! Take this! Eternal Devastation!
Fluidity of your such unadulterated fury.
We fight better at a distance. The further away, the better. You and I both.
Radiant! Here!
It's about to strike!
Look sharp, everyone!
Here goes!
Take this!
Is that a healing art? It is. I can't ignore your pain. I'll try to be more careful.
If it's in the sky, it's mine! I'll be
Rising Wyvern!
Take
Take this!
Freeze
You'll
Lancer!
finish! This
Don't mind
one's
if I
all
do.
mine!
I never miss! Lightning Condensed!
Glacial Spear!
Pierce evil!
I'm coming down with something great.
A chronic inability to read the room?
A malady your art cannot fix.
Rising Falcon!
Hear my call! Spread!
Demon Fang! Double Demon Fang!
Come flame! Reload! Holy Land! There! Perfect! Mega Ray!
Take this!
Heal! Mega Ray! This one's mine!
Demon Fang! Double
I
Demon
never
Fang!
miss! They're not hanging around! Get toasty!
Bird Strike!
I can feel my precision improving.
What do you say we check back in on the ranch? Hey, look! We've got way more animals!
I never imagined Law would have a knack for husbandry.
Sure. Just great.
Well... Anyway...
Oh,
We've got it covered, Tim. Just relax and leave it...
I see. Guess I'll do some laundry instead.
What does it look like?
Yeah, I guess you are. You're...
Of course not. I have a good memory.
He's fine, Kisara.
Oh, good. If you say so, Alphen, then I have nothing to worry about.
Hey! How come you don't trust me when I say it?
Just don't squeeze too hard or else you'll damage the fabric. Okay?
Yeah, I get it. You know, if you keep making that face, it's gonna stick that way.
What was that?
Nothing.
Well, if there's nothing for me to do, I guess I'll head back. I suppose I should take this as a sign of how much they've all grown, but... Oh,
Simply admiring our campfire as I await dinner. I find watching the flames dance can be rather inspiring.
just the same as always then. Although I'm sort of relieved.
Oh? And here I thought you were planning to scold me.
Why? Did you want to be scolded too?
No, I wasn't saying that. The night is aglow with star and firelight. Yet what I hold most dear are the words of a friend.
That's not like your usual poetry. Are you trying to tell me something?
Brimming is thy soul with words yet unspoken.
Okay, I get it. You want me to talk to you about it.
To hear your words of worry, I can but sit and wait.
I said I get it. I guess I'm just struggling with how capable everyone's become these days. I'm proud of them, but I'm not sure what I contribute to the team anymore. So, I guess it's been troubling me a bit. They don't need me for chores or fighting anymore. And I don't have much in the way of feminine charm. But aside from being a soldier, do I have anything else to offer? And if not, then what good am I? I can't help worrying about it.
Lost though you may be, with utopia but a dream, life without you would be no life at all.
You're right. I still have Miguel's dream left to fulfill, and we still have the fight ahead of us to overcome.
With you by my side, Even the bitter times can taste sweet.
Okay, I think that's enough poetry for one day.
Hey, dinner's ready! Wow, you look really happy, Kisara.
Oh? I'm just excited to see what you two have cooked up. Now let's sit down and enjoy it already. Dohaline, all of your replies last night were poems. What was that all about?
I suppose I was struck with poetic inspiration. Did it strike your fancy?
Yes, I found it to be quite elegant.
I'm afraid my memory of them is a bit faint. Could I trouble you to recite them for me?
No, you cannot. Remember them yourself.
Armored soldiers!
Some of Volron's former guards.
Let's take them out quick before things get messy.
Oh, glory unto Volron!
Lay down your arms, and no one has to get hurt.
Silence! Traitors like you shall never walk free!
I knew you were stubborn, but you don't have to be so damn dramatic.
Captivity!
No further!
Rising Wyvern!
The enemy wields armor too.
We'll soon see about that.
Do it! Kisara! All yours, Kisara!
Here I go! Ready to die your dreams!
Take this!
The water is
Save you!
Sleep now. I'll be radiant this one. Radiant here!
Far enough!
Hey, Radiant here!
Rising Falcon!
Back into the fray! Holy Land!
Vacuum Blade!
Annihilation!
Rising Wyvern! Demon Blade! Try harder! Not kill!
Daring Flame! Reload!
Swallow Blade!
Hold on to your art! Here I come!
Now or never.
In here!
Double Demon Fang! Rising Wyvern!
Radiant
Anything in order is all mine!
What's with the hole here? Is that supposed to be their hideout?
It doesn't look like it's freshly dug, whatever it is. Maybe it's the entrance to a path to Cyslodia. Everything all right?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. Let's go. I don't know when it happened, but we sure are hauling a lot of stuff these days.
I was just thinking the exact same thing. Glad to hear I'm not the only one.
We should probably clear some stuff out, like our old weapons we're not using anymore. They must be in pretty bad shape by now.
No way. Those are still good as new with a little polishing. If anything, I'd say all our armor is what's weighing us down.
But that armor's also still good once you fix it up. Besides, better to have too much armor than too little. You can trust me on that one.
Well, what about all these dumb old antiques we're lugging around? If we sell those off, that should lighten our load.
Simpletons such as yourself who can't appreciate the true worth of such things is how precious art vanishes from history.
Pretty art's not gonna save you in a fight, man.
Stop it, you guys! This is no time to...
All I really meant to say is, you can tell how much we've been through by everything we're carrying around. Honestly, that's all.
Oh.
My deepest apologies. It appears that I may have rather overreacted.
Yeah, I guess it's only natural we'd have so many souvenirs by now. I might have been out of line too.
I guess all this stuff really is a sign of how far we've come together.
Yeah, every little piece is its own treasure filled with memories.
Well, looky here.
Tell me, Alphen, wherever did you learn how to wield a sword?
I was wondering the same thing too, actually. I'm guessing you knew how to fight before you met the Crimson Crows, right?
I used to be a soldier who served a Danon master. I never saw the guy's face, but I still fought for him because he was my employer. Looking back, it wasn't all that different from being a slave.
A Danon master? That must have been before the Renans brought you to Lenegis 300 years ago.
You must fight using real Danon techniques then.
Really? We used to have our own sword arts?
There's a lot of our own history we've lost since the Renans first invaded. It's not all magic and art. I'm sure it includes things like sword styles too. It's incredible and also a little surreal to see those arts still survive after all this time.
Not only that, but I first learned these moves while serving one ruler, only to end up turning my sword on the ruling class altogether. Pretty ironic when you think about it.
I apologize if I dredged up unfortunate memories for you.
Nah, we're good. It's in the past now. All we ever did in those days was stir up trouble.
You're using those skills for a good cause now. It's not all bad.
I suppose this is what people mean when they say that every cloud has its silver lining.
Exactly. He's using those sword skills to make the world better. Could be a lot worse.
True enough. I will stop worrying about mentioning it then. This place is rather gloomy.
Why don't you lighten the mood for us while we're here then?
No wonder we couldn't manage to find them. They've been holed up here all this time, hiding.
The remnants of Volron's forces. You think they were planning an ambush on Pelegion?
Possibly. Then again, knowing how blind their devotion is, maybe they were just waiting.
Waiting? For Volron, you mean?
Even though we already defeated him? But yes, I suppose you're right. For these guys, that would just be a technicality. They act more like worshippers than subjects. They're probably still in denial that he was overthrown in the first place.
Either that, or they were biding their time until the next crown contest. Either way, their allegiance is to their lord.
Who they're convinced and expectant will return. So in the meantime, they wait patiently in preparation for the day that he finally does. That's way more than just loyalty. It's no less than total subjugation.
I'll take you all on!
Ready to go!
Sonic thrust!
Now you see what I can do!
Simian pest! I shall feel you where you stand!
Now!
I can't lay a finger on you!
I prefer it that way. What about you?
Just watch and see! Sonic thrust! Sword Rain Alpha! Raining slash!
Was that a new skill I saw back there?
Indeed. Well, sort of. Actually, you've noticed it, haven't you?
Notice what?
I'm referring to Shion.
I never thought you, of all people, would come to me about her.
Yes, well, what concerns me has more to do with what machinations may be currently unfolding in secret on Lenegis as we make our way along this tunnel.
And you're saying it's related to Shion in some way?
Perhaps. She believed there was a good possibility that the Renis Alma may free her from her thorns. One would think after losing the Renis Alma, she would be more dismayed, and yet she isn't. Why? There's also the matter of the power that she inherited from...
You heard what she said. She didn't know about the Maiden's power.
Mere ignorance does not preclude her deep connection to the events unfolding around us. You recall when her thorns went rampant in Castle Del Faris. I've never seen dark astral energy manifest in such a way.
I thought you said all Renans had dark astral energy inside of them.
Correct. However, what Shion exhibited was far beyond what any ordinary citizen could ever possibly possess. And let me be clear. I do not intend to cast doubt on Shion, or her motives. Nevertheless, I cannot shake the feeling that there's more to all of this than what we currently know. Do you disagree?
Like this should be easy.
Reload! Eat dirt! Pierce!
Dazzle!
Fall into thy
Rising Falcon!
Your wings won't save you from me!
What in the world?
Dohaline, I'm alright.
Fine,
Freeze!
why can't they jump it still?
Shion, can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done!
Lightning thrust! Wind! Devastation!
The water
Rising wind!
magic is there!
So I still had room to grow.
It's obvious that people used to go through here in order to get to the other realm.
You think Volron really did seal it off to keep it hidden then?
Seems like it. Those soldiers we encountered might have known about it, chosen to hide out.
This will be a delicious piece of cake! Here I go!
Okay, I'll smash you! Luna Rondo!
Be
careful, everyone!
Go for it!
Prepare to crumble!
Bring the wind!
Rising Fury! He got fired!
I got this! Let him march to the hand!
All yours!
On yours! Excellent technique. How are your weapons holding up? Best not to give me any idea.
As impressive as always.
Ah, and here I hoped I was improving.
Well, looky here!
Coming through!
Fires of passion!
Glacial spear.
Come and face me! Now I can let loose!
Freeze Lancer! I never miss! Cross
Double
and red!
Demon Fang! Can't get out of
Feel the art? Do it! Now I've seen everything!
Position, precision, time. Pesky airborne scoundrels.
Sounds like a job for yours truly! No, not my watch! Freeze! By the power of
You fight better at a distance. The further away, the better. You and I both.
This one's all mine!
now! Astral energy!
Say no more! The astral energy was incredible!
I gave it everything I had.
I see supplies and other signs people were living here. Even Zoogle cages.
Definitely looks like this is where the remnants of Volron's forces hold themselves up. Yeah.
They were hiding in a place like this all along.
Get lost!
Grant me
Fires
the
of
strength
passion!
to
Course
march
of
on!
the
Rising Wyvern! You picked the wrong fight!
I'll smash you! Denied!
They're surrounding us! Radiant
Double
now!
Demon Fang!
Into everlasting dark.
Now I can let loose!
On your
Rising Wyvern!
Illuminate the dark! Mega red!
Pierce through!
You're really, really strong, Alphen.
I'm just trying to do the best I can.
Still, it's reassuring to have you around.
As impressive as always.
Here I hoped I was improving.
No, I mean, you're even better than ever.
I've never seen Xion actually look flustered.
Let's get you up.
Small, but a victory nonetheless.
We have a long way yet to go.
I found some equipment.
Let me take a look at it.
Out of our way. Where are you going?
Ignite!
Are those arms even natural? Water, hear my call. Armor won't save you.
Rising Wyvern! Hurricane Thrust! Damn it! It's too fast!
Stand back. I'll trip it up.
Come on, come on! Be still!
I feel stronger. I mean, a bit.
Good. We're counting on you, Rinwell.
On me? Well, I'll do my best.
Forgive you!
Strength to march on!
I owe you one. Blaze of fear! Pierce evil! Freeze laser!
Dragon Swarm!
I can shatter any steel!
Elusive deity! Take this!
I shall ensure the survival.
There are still more left!
Rising
Right. No time to hold back.
You're on!
Here!
Shockwave Strike!
Resonate with the earth! Anything in armor is all mine! Nothing gets by me!
Take this!
Here goes!
Sword Rain Alpha!
Any injuries?
This might be some decent... equipment.
Anything that makes battles easier is okay by me.
How much do they have to steal from us to be satisfied?
What's that thing's purpose, anyway? Some kind of siphon that sends the astral energy the Lords harvested to Lenegus?
Not as far as I'm aware. That said, it has become evident since the forming of the Renaissance, as well as other recent events, that my insight may be thin. I would, as I believe the saying goes, take what I say with a grain of salt.
No, Halim.
At the very least, I believe we can assume that whoever is pulling the strings behind the scenes has had this in the works for quite some time.
Why's that?
The people on Lenegus may have plenty of resources at their disposal, but not even they could prepare something like that in a mere month. Something of that magnitude takes considerable time, as well as a predetermined goal in mind.
Then what was the crown contest for?
At this stage, I think it was but one step in the greater scheme we see unfolding before us. What that scheme is exactly, I haven't a clue. For now, I believe we should keep moving. The path continues. It's quite possible it will take us all the way to Cyslodia.
Agreed. Let's keep moving.
So Shion's... Come to think of it, what happened to those 4 lights that fell from Lenegis along with the wedge?
All 4 of them scattered in different directions. It's anyone's guess where on Dana they might have landed.
I'm not entirely sure, but it seemed like those lights may have all been different elements of astral energy.
So even though they're using the wedge to siphon off energy from Dana, they're shooting it back down to Dana as well? Why?
I don't know. It all happened so suddenly.
Hopefully it's not a sign of some new threat we'll have to deal with.
But if that red woman has anything to do with the wedge, then what could that light...
It's weird, isn't it?
Oh?
The Red Woman. Shion and Dohalim said they'd never seen her before Pelegion.
Are you saying they're lying to us?
No, it's not that I think they're lying, just... There has to be some reason for it, right?
Well, one thing the 2 of them have in common is that they're both Renins.
Okay, you 2. Put a pin in it for now. I know that we're in the dark about a lot, but for now, let's focus on getting through these mountains.
Yeah, of course.
Grant me the strength to march on! I'll take you all on! Sharpwood Flash! Ignite!
Healing circle!
I owe you one. Why'd you heal me?
Flying freaks!
Why can't they just sit still?
Shion, can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done.
The everlasting sun!
Illuminate, don't mind if I do.
Negative gear! Here I come! On your...
Now,
Light burst forth!
Radiant Genesis! Another one down.
Your skills are admirable.
An opponent like this should be easy.
To march on!
Lunar corruption!
Lionheart!
Okay, here I go.
The flame inside me yearns to be let free! Burn in hell!
I owe you one.
By the power of water!
Rising Wyvern! On your
Photon blast! Burning strut!
Well then, I should probably think about tonight's
Little Hell can handle this.
strength to march on!
Where are you going?
Done!
I never miss! Do it! They may look cute and stuff, but they're vicious! Do it!
I owe you one.
Pesky airborne scoundrel!
Sounds like it's
In an instant!
impact cross! Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood.
It sure got cold all of a sudden after we passed the peak.
La,
Yeah, we're getting close.
Hi, Hoodle!
Grant me the strength to march on!
Ready!
Lionheart!
Not my
Come and face me!
Rising
You're really, really strong, Alvin.
I'm just trying to do the best I can.
Still, it's reassuring to have you around.
We got flyers.
As impressive.
I've got this. Let a marksman handle it.
Burn in hell! All yours!
Radiant, here! Hydration orb!
Elusive deity! Rotating pile driver! Elusive deity! Rising pile driver!
Dance in the wind! Here!
Take this!
Feel! I'll be there!
That extra training paid off.
An opponent like this should be easy.
Stay calm. I shall provide assistance.
Rising Falcon!
Now you see what I can do.
Demon Fang! Double Demon Fang! Destruction!
Burning strike! Water, hear my wall!
Demon Fang!
Blood! If it's in the sky, it's mine!
Everlasting darkness.
Feel!
Negative gate.
Resonate with your wind!
I'm ready for the next battle.
Coming through.
Hold on to your art. Here I come.
Lion Hawk!
Not in your dreams.
Fall into thine own depth!
Take this! It's over! No escape!
Pieces! Elusive deity!
Freeze Lancer!
Eagle Ray!
Grind the field! Get on in there!
Take it!
I never miss!
Elusive deity!
Rotating pile driver.
Do it! Law!
Demon's Descent! Flashing Fang!
That was almost too easy.
No enemy can stand it. Out of our way!
Now we're never.
They're surrounding us!
Lion can't get out of
I
this.
owe you one. You're mine!
Denied!
Sprint! Next! It's on! Demon Fang! I'm ready! Still!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished! You picked the wrong fight!
First aid!
This could be useful.
Hey! New
Equipment!
We made it to Cislodia.
We need to get that bridge down somehow.
It looks like we can control it from our side. Let's take a closer look.
Are you okay, Law?
Oh, fine. Just thinking. The past is a real downer. That's why I'm focused on what's ahead of me. You?
Yeah. I'm going to stay the path. As long as we're all together, I know we'll be all right.
Same here. Now let's get moving.
Oh, good. We can cross through here.
Stop! Who goes there?
My name is Alphen. We're not your enemies.
Did you say Alphen? Slap me silly, it really is you!
Forgetting someone?
Rinwell! Oh, glad to see you're doing okay.
What are you guys doing out here?
We're patrolling the realm. Never thought I'd bump into you all on my rounds, though. Heck, enough of me, though. What's going on up in the sky? Feels like the world's gonna end.
That's what we're trying to figure out ourselves. And as it happens, got a big favor to ask.
I had an inkling that's why you'd come back. Soon as I saw you in the distance. So you beat all the lords, huh? Damn, you really must be a hero.
I just did what I had to. So can you send anybody to help Ganeth Haros?
I think we can help out. I'll hit up the other resistance groups and rustle up some support. I doubt they'll have a problem sending people once I mention it's you who's asking.
Thanks. If you guys can help out, that'll give us a chance to do something about that wedge out in the ocean.
Yeah, I think that's something only you guys can handle. Speaking of which, that thing's out in the middle of the ocean. How do you even plan on reaching it?
By boat. We're about to go look for one.
No rest for the weary, I see. Hey, what happened to that mask you used to wear?
It's a long story. Let's just say I lost it.
I sure never expected to run into... A boat, huh? Where are we gonna find one of those? It's not the kind of thing people just leave lying around.
Especially not Renans. For an Imperial power, they never have shown much interest in maritime expansion. Still, I dare say there should be the odd small vessel here and there.
All well and good, but that structure's slap bang in the middle of the ocean. A fishing boat won't cut it.
Let's just try to find one that won't sink us halfway out, yeah? Not that it needs to be a huge galley like Almadria's or anything.
Just as well, since we've passed, let's see, literally 0 huge galleys.
All I know is we have to reach that thing in the ocean. Anything that might work, I say we try it. Thanks to Bregan, it seems like Ganeth Haros should be in good hands, at least.
I wonder who they'll send to look after things. It'll be someone from one of the other resistance organizations, no doubt.
They could do a whole lot worse than someone like Doc. A knowledge of medicine would go a long way there.
Wait, do you mean the old guy back in Calaglia? Ganeth Haros would be one hell of a trek from there. He'd have to get here first.
My brother's old second-in-command, Lagiel, would be a perfect fit, too. Pity she'll probably still have her hands tied up with work in Menancia.
Mahag Sar will be the same story. They won't have the manpower as it is, let alone enough to start exporting it.
Man, everyone's still struggling to get back on their feet, huh?
Knowing Bregan, he'll probably take things into his own hands. He seems like the kind of guy who enjoys a challenge.
Thinking back on it now, though, it does kind of make you realize just how many people we've gotten to know in each of the places we visited.
That's true. And each and every connection we forged is priceless. Anyway, we can trust Bregan to take care of things from here. Come on, let's focus on the task at hand.
You finally made it.
Let's dispose of the trash. In this blade. Sharpness. Spread.
Didn't even break a sweat. Got a bad feeling.
Brace yourself! This one's tough! I owe you one!
This one's mine.
Time to cross blades! Demon Fang! Crush! Catapult! Eternal Devastation! Mega Sonic Thrust! Can you take it? Death in the wind! Rising Wyvern! This should do it! Soaring Light Spear!
Can't get out of this!
Mirage!
Let me see what I can do!
The flame inside me yearns to be let free! Soaring Ignite! Mirage!
The fluidity of your movement is simply incredible.
Demon Fang! Destruction! This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me.
Got it! I'll leave it to you!
If it's in the sky, it's mine!
Burn in hell!
I can carve through armor!
Annihilation! Hear me!
Rising Wyvern!
In a bind?
Rising Falcon! Try this!
Negative death on your...
Demon Fang! Double
It
Demon
looks like
Fang!
you got this one
Rising
covered.
Falcon!
You get the gist.
This one's all mine!
Elusive deity!
Eat dirt!
Rotating pile cycle!
You're mine!
Soaring blast!
Severing
Anything in armor is all mine!
on the ground!
I'm ready!
Still!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Lunar corruption!
Soaring blast! Dragon form!
The enemy is going all out!
Double Demon Fang!
In a bind?
Illuminate what is in the sky is mine! Holy land!
Death on the wind!
Rising Wyvern! Mirage! Coming through! Ha! Melt! Scarlet Inferno! Swallow Blade! Eat dirt!
Can't be stopped! So there you go! Don't let up! My watch!
Demon
Into the shadows!
Slash!
Another incantation ruined.
Raging storm!
Elusive deity!
Don't out!
Demon Fang! Water!
Holy land!
Take this!
Dragon form! Ignite!
This one is almost in the bag.
Not done yet. Just falling back.
Then it's time for you to do what you do best.
Shuffling Flash!
Holy land!
Double Demon Fang! Demon Fang!
Radiant right! Regeneration!
Orb!
Save you!
They're not playing around.
Take this!
That move!
Here comes the big one!
Forward up!
Stay away from my friend! Rising Falcon!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss. Hold on to your heart. Here I come.
Take this!
Raging
This one's all
storm!
mine! You picked the wrong fight!
Raging storm!
Double Demon Fang! Eternal Devastation!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
My astral arts are coming along quite nicely. Coming along?
What do you want to do with them?
Oh, you know. Sprout flowers from the tip of my staff, suspended in midair.
Well... Oof.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah!
What?
Right. Afraid not.
Right.
Yeah! We finally made it. Huh? You?
Yeah.
Could that be... What the hell? Oh, again? Maybe if we use... You did it! Calm down. Let's hurry.
What language was that? Lawese? I didn't understand a word of it.
Sorry about that. That was Patvo, an old friend of mine. He's like a little bro to me. There's a Zoogle on the loose that he couldn't finish off. Want to help deal with it?
Another?
Well, I guess it can't be helped.
It's freezing.
Little help!
To be sealed.
Sighted! They're surrounding us!
Don't suffer in silence. We've turned the tables on them.
There are still more left!
Right. No time to hold back.
The heavens must be smiling.
Glacial spear! Piercing your
Leave the torches to me!
fall into the flashing parts are weak!
The enemy wields arts too.
We'll soon see about that!
Can't get out of this!
It's on!
Annihilation!
Eat
It'll
your-
go back to your eyes! Here I come! Gemini Alpha!
Elusive deity! Swallow blade!
Pile driver!
Double demon
Ready,
blade!
Calhoun!
Demon blade!
Back into
Double
battle!
demon blade! Rending you apart!
Magic is in! In here!
Bloody
Radiant here! The water!
Rising wyvern!
Resonate with
Your
you!
line! Strata!
Water! Here I come! I never miss!
No further! Sword Ray Alpha!
This'll come in handy. Blah, blah, blah.
On your
It's
knees.
too much to handle.
Rising Falcon!
You get the lunar blast in here.
I need something.
You need to be healed.
How the mighty have fallen.
I'll smash you!
Raging storm.
Denied!
Watch it. Celestial.
Fluidity of your movements are simple.
Now! All
Here
freely!
goes. Take it down.
Destruction! Eternal devastation!
I'm ready. This ends
Consider yourself finished! Slash! Rising Wyvern! Rising Phoenix! Here I come!
In a bind?
Try this! Infernal Torrent! This one's all mine! Burn! Be still! Rising Falcon! Be still! Rising Falcon!
Now you see what I can do!
Rising Wyvern!
Annihilation!
Be still!
Illuminate the dark field! Come forth!
Rising
I can handle it!
Hurricane Thrust!
Denied! Fierce evil!
Hurricane...
Holy land!
We've got him on the run!
Don't get caught!
Right. Still anyone's fight.
Take this! In a bind?
You're mine! Dragon Form!
Use of deity! A thrilling performance.
The enemy is going all out! Glacial spear! Pierce evil!
Rising Wyvern!
Freeze lancer!
Take this!
Illuminate the dark! It's another strike!
What I can do!
Look sharp, everyone!
Resonate with the earth!
Now!
River!
Astral energy!
Say no more.
You're quite the gunslinger.
I have to be. In this world,
Don't worry, I've got your back. Always good to be back in familiar territory.
Oh, yeah!
Huh?
Hey! What? Is that...
What? Hey! What's going...
Oh,
What was that all about?
yeah.
Just think something's going on between me and Rinwell. And...
Well, most of the perches are filled up now. Frankly, I'm amazed there's so many of these guys.
What cautious lives they must have lived. They deserve credit for their vitality.
they're all so lovely individually, but I think they look downright awe-inspiring, and so many of them are gathered together in one place.
I don't know. It's hard to relax with all of them eyeballing us at once.
Yeah, I guess owls do seem to stare.
You've done well.
He's at it again.
Come on, you know you like it.
Frankly, I never thought you'd gather so many of us.
You are so quick to rescue those in need. You have given us a big, happy family.
We're on the brink of extinction. We must work together if we are to change our fate.
You carry a heavy burden.
Don't you worry. We can change fate. You won't be alone. I promise.
This isn't just your fight. I'm here for you too. I want us both to be together.
That was you interpreting for the owls, right?
Yeah, of course.
It's nice to see everyone getting along, but perhaps we should be moving on.
Just who was that conversation between?
Try not to think about it too much. Besides, there's still a few empty perches left.
We've come this far. Why stop now, right?
Hey, Hootle. Once we've managed to gather all the owls, after that... Huh?
We finally made it.
You see anybody around here who could use our help?
We can't...
Huh?
Why?
Oh, yeah?
Hmm.
Dohalim.
It'd be bad news if this had something to do with that wedge business.
What I don't get is, why here? What could possibly be out here?
What? Good grief. Yeah!
Yes!
All right. I'm gonna do it! You watch, Alvin.
Watch what? You getting clothes?
No, not the clothes. I'm talking about asking the hottest lady in town out on a date. Well...
Huh? Right.
Law. Sorry.
Oh?
Thanks.
Looks like you're done here. Finn?
Yeah. That was too close. Hey.
Yes!
I guess.
Huh? Yeah.
Nice.
Hey!
Wow.
What?
How?
Really?
We did it!
Good grief.
Yes!
It couldn't have gotten far.
There are still Zoogles on the loose. We'd better hurry.
Isn't that the bull? It's surrounded by Zoogles.
Hey now! No picking on Ab!
Hi, Hoodle!
Grant me the strength to march on!
Let the
I can't lay a
monster
finger
handle
on
it.
you.
I prefer it that way. What about you?
Just watch and see.
If they rush you...
Yeah! I guess...
Yes!
Yeah?
Huh?
How?
Hey!
Really?
Hey! Ah! Huh? Good grief. Yeah.
Don't look now, but the animals have come to see you off.
Oh, of course, the only affection I can get is from livestock.
Aww. I think you and them are a match made in heaven.
Oh, wow!
Yeah. Oh?
Good grief.
Hey! Whoa!
Huh? Well...
Huh?
yeah.
I guess...
Huh?
Got it.
Thanks.
That was quite the little adventure we went on.
Okay!
Oh,
Why, you...
really now.
Just what's going on here?
Okay!
Here we go! I'll do my best! Far enough! Look sharp! On guard! Huh. Think you can fly? Crescent moon! Think you can fly? Going in! Crescent moon! Tiger blade! First! Igneous discharge! Tiger blade! First! Look sharp! Igneous discharge! Round and pound! This one's mine! Tiger blade! First! Think you can fly? Here goes! This one's mine! Tiger blade! Look sharp! Round and pound! All right! This one's mine! Lion Cowl! This one's mine! I can handle it! On guard! Tiger blade! I'll take you all on! Ha! Flare Demolisher! First! Denied! Guardian Field! I'm ready to go! Hell! The power of light! I'm ready to go! Round and...
What the... Excuse me!
Yes!
Seriously? I never knew Lagiel could be so intense.
She can get... that way where my brother is concerned.
She's not the only one.
What? What? All right.
Huh?
What? All right.
A fish! You saw it too, right?
Always good to be back in familiar territory.
No way.
Well...
That can't be.
Sure.
Agreed. I must say, I wasn't expecting you to be the one to spoil their reunion.
Well, it was the same with Alphen and Shion. Too much affection can be hard to bear. In fact, you look sort of pleased, Dohalim.
I have the privilege of witnessing their new start together. Few things can...
Okay.
Hey!
Oh!
Great!
Oh!
Huh. Yes!
Okay. How?
The fish could be dwindling even as we speak.
Time is of the essence. Let's hurry.
I think you're making a mountain out of a molehill.
Hey, Alphen, you mind if we take a bit of a detour?
It's fine by me, but what for?
Rinwell says there's a phantom flower that grows around here. We want to look for it. It won't take long, promise.
A flower, huh? All right, let's take a look.
Look out!
What the hell is that? Hey, you want a piece of me?
Stay calm, Law. It's coming for us.
You just had to make things difficult for us, didn't you?
What are you muttering about? Focus or you'll get hurt.
Don't worry, I'll have this wrapped up in a flash.
Anything in order is all mine!
Double Demon Fang! Demon Fang!
Charge like that could easily be faced. Just as well, I'm here to stop. Armor won't save you! Elusive
Sonic
deity!
Thrust!
Please don't mind if I do. I never miss.
Tornado
Raging
Blast!
Cascade.
Burn in hell!
Dance in the wind.
Can you take it? Dragon Swarm! Sonic Thrust! Rending Blast!
I'll grind you into dust!
Lunar corruption.
Here I come! It's over! Blow away!
Far enough!
Demon Fang!
Take this!
Stardust!
Shine! Radiant light!
No! Can't end here!
Forgive me. This is my fault. Another incantation ruined. Elusive deity!
Swallow Blade! Swordblade Alpha! Raining Slap!
I'll grind you into dust! Demon Land! It's in your hands now.
I can
carve through armor!
Mirage!
Frozen.
Hammer! I'll bring you back from death! What did I tell you? Don't get in our way! Ready to go!
Demon Fang!
One more! Wicked.
Burn!
Breath of life!
Holy
Heal my weary companion! I'm gonna be more.
It looks like you got this one covered.
What the? Flames?
Watch out! It's changing its attack.
Try harder!
Far enough! Nonsense! Resonate with the earth! By the
Rising Viper!
Thunder field.
No! Can't end here!
I couldn't... Get in time.
Raging cascade.
Vacuum Blade! Demon Fang!
I'll smash you!
Come forth, Holy Glare Lancer. Holy
Resonate with the earth!
Is this it?
On your knees.
This one's mine. Lightning raging cascade. Where are you going? Field.
Heal my
This
weary
is the
companion!
Lunar Raging stop. I'm no more playing nice.
Imbued
Rising
with
Viper!
fragrance.
Here's a healing art.
In a bind?
First aid. Annihilation.
Dance on the wind! This is some punishment.
No! Can't end here!
I'm gonna need more.
Here I come!
this! Begin!
Looks like you came to my rescue again.
You need to be careful. With the blazing sword and with the
Can't get
storm.
out of this! This should do it! Armor won't save you! Take it! Sword right over!
This one's mine!
Swallow blade!
Is this what real pain feels like?
Searing flame! Reload!
Bloody howling!
Raging
It's over!
No, it won't end like this.
Stay away from my friend! From beyond, indeed its vanquished soul! Sonic thrust!
Like thinking.
I feel myself.
Severing wind!
By the power of water!
No further.
Mega ray! Thunder blade! I'll bring you back from death's abyss.
Ready and ready!
Resuscitation! The enemy is
Not
going
done
all
yet.
out! Missile condemned! Thunder
bring you
blade!
back
Be
from
still!
death's abyss.
Rising
Come
Falcon!
forth, Holy Land! A new leaf
Swallow
of
blade!
I shall ensure you survived it.
Hey, Alf. You mind if we take a bit of a detour?
It's fine by me, but...
All right?
I guess.
Oh.
Hey.
Is that so? Good. I see.
Looks like we made it here in one piece.
I'm impressed how well balanced this thing is.
I must admit, I'm rather proud of this dish.
Wow, that's some weird-looking meat you're cooking up there. What is it exactly?
That would be grilled rapig.
What?
Whoa there! What's the big brouhaha?
It's Rapig! How could you cook something with such cute little eyes? What did it ever do to you?
I fail to see what the problem is. Rapigs are perfectly edible creatures. Having said that, I do realize it's become rather rare to eat them lately. What with people increasingly embracing them as pets and companions.
They definitely didn't fall out of fashion to eat because of their flavor, that's for sure.
Agreed. Rapigs have tender, fatty meat. The taste can take some getting used to, but I would argue that's part of its charm.
If the taste is too strong, I imagine you can either just cook it thoroughly or simmer it with some herbs to mask it.
Indeed. At first I wasn't sure whether to smoke it with spices or simmer it in water, but I opted to grill it as is instead.
Seriously, Dohalim? You have the weirdest tastes.
That's probably because when you live the life of a lord, you grow tired of most ordinary cuisine.
So you end up seeking out more unusual food. I don't know if that's good or bad.
Well, putting aside what it used to be, you've got to admit it does look pretty damn good. Meat is meat, after all.
That reminds me. I do believe I once read in a book about rare delicacies, how one can go about preparing an owl.
Huh?
I suppose I won't have the chance to try it anytime soon.
Not with Hoodle, you won't!
Shion, could we talk a moment?
Hey, do you have time to talk? There's something I need to ask you.
Of course. What's up?
It's about the doll I used to have as a little girl. I gave it some more thought, and I still don't remember actually receiving it from anyone.
You were so little. I don't think it's that surprising you've forgotten, is it?
Yeah, but here's the thing. That doll was so old, I'm starting to think I just always had it with me from the start. I know that it's extremely unlikely, but after last time we talked, it got me thinking. Maybe you brought the doll that child made with you to Lenegis.
I couldn't be.
Are you saying you didn't? Look, logically speaking, I know it's a lot more likely that you didn't bring it with you than you did. But you can't say for sure you didn't, right? Crazier things have happened. I always thought I'd be alone, only to end up meeting you, and Law, and Rinwell, and Kisara, and Dohalim. Sometimes things happen in life that we never thought possible.
You make a good point. I left everyone and everything I knew behind 300 years ago. But now, I'm not so alone anymore.
Exactly. You crossed all those centuries to find all of us, so...
Why can't a little doll have made the same jump too?
Right? Look, it's up to you to decide if there's any meaning behind all of this. But I choose to think there is.
Yeah, I think so too. There's something beautiful about the whole thing that simply can't be denied.
Sorry if I'm a bit restless during the night. Did you get enough sleep?
This place is rather gloomy.
Why don't you...